morphing into nationwide anti-government demonstrations. Tehran has acknowledged that more than 3,000 deaths occurred during the unrest, but insists that most were members of the security forces and innocent bystanders, attributing the violence to terrorist acts. Meanwhile, back home in Nigeria, an object suspected to be a bomb was evacuated from the United Evangelical Church, Ehere Umola Ogbo Hill in Abia State. Now, according to reports, over 100 people would have ended up dead had the object exploded. An eyewitness who spoke to reporters disclosed that the church members were digging the area around the parsonage for a new fence when they unearthed a large metal object. One of them reportedly took the strange object to the nearby water borehole when the priest in charge suddenly suspected it was a bomb and warned them to stay away. A source further stated that the priest in charge went to a military unit in the city, which led soldiers to storm the parsonage to evacuate the deadly objects. Secretary of the Abia Area Conference of the United Evangelical Church, Reverend Thompson Ikbeoha, who confirmed the incident, said it was yet to be fully briefed by the priest in charge of the Ehere Umola Church. Meanwhile, security agencies have been placed on high alert following reports that a large number of armed Fulani herder bandits have arrived and set up camps in the valley between Ogba Luatakpa in Agatu and Ekpete in Akwa local government areas of Benue State. Sources told Zagazola that personnel of the Nigerian Police Force, civilian JTF, and other tactical teams have been proactively deployed to the affected areas to forestall possible attacks on surrounding communities. Authorities said the monitoring and surveillance have been intensified to ensure the safety of residents and prevent any disruption to local activities. The sources urge members of the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious movement to security agencies. Further developments are expected as operations continue in the area. Meanwhile, gunmen have abducted 2 residents in Ora Igbomina and Osun State community bordering Kwara State. The assailants reportedly stormed a private residence along Arauri Road, Papa area of the town on Sunday night. The incident occurred during a brief lull in police patrol activity due to heavy rainfall. A development the Osun State Police Command has acknowledged. Residents said the attacker struck swiftly, firing gunshots to scare people away before dragging their victims into nearby bush paths. Meanwhile, in Yellow Water Community, Guma local government area of Benue State, the organizations Building Zion and Equipping the Persecuted have so far reconstructed 35 housing units in the community, which was raised during coordinated overnight attacks on June 13 and 14, 2025. On the night of June 13 and 14, 2025, no fewer than 270 people, including women and children, were brutally murdered and more than 400 houses burned when armed Fulani ethnic militia invaded the community. The founder of Building Zion, Alex Barbier, has stated that the Nigerian government must strive to protect the people of Yellow Water after the ongoing rebuilding efforts. Let's take a listen to Alex Barbier, who has been in Nigeria for a while now, rebuilding houses in the Yellow Water community of Benue State.
Happens in Yellow Water after this rebuilding. If something happens in Yellow Water after this rebuilding, the government is liable. The blood is on your hands. We've come in good faith, with good heart, to help the people, to rebuild where nobody is helping. But you are responsible to secure your own people. And your security here now, but we can't see that they leave in 1 month or 2 months. I can't come back and see that your water has been burned and killed again. If it happens, you are liable. It is your job to protect them. And so I challenge you, I beg you, do your job. Protect your own people. The U.S. government knows what has been done here. They know the attack. They know that I am here. They know that we have rebuilt Yellow Water, and they support me. Congressman Riley Moore, he supports what we're doing. He knows. He has the geographical coordinates of Yellow Water. And we are all monitoring what is happening here. So please, protect your people. Do not let anything happen to Yellow Water again.
Thank you.
Now, in a very recent development, the labor unions have asked their members and affiliates under the payroll of the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) to resume work with immediate effect. The directive, contained in a joint circular by the TUC and the NLC today, followed a marathon conciliatory meeting between the unions and the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. According to the labor unions, the breakthrough meeting was brokered by the chairman of the Senate Committee on FCT, Mohammed Bamoy, during which the grievances that have grounded activities at the FCTA Secretariat since January 19 were addressed. The union said all complaints by the Joint Union Action Committee were fully addressed to the satisfaction of all parties involved, with Wike assuring organized labor of mutual respect and sustained engagement going forward to ensure a harmonious working relationship. Other resolutions reached included a deal that no worker shall be victimized in any way for participating in the industrial action, and that all outstanding cases at the National Industrial Court related to the industrial dispute shall be withdrawn immediately by the parties. The workers, under the umbrella of JOAC, had gone on strike over issues like non-remittance of statutory deductions, delays in payment of promotion arrears, and the conduct of the promotion exercise, amongst other issues. On January 27, the National Industrial Court had directed the workers to suspend the industrial action while it held that the issue is a trade dispute. The defendant's right to go on strike was not absolute. Now, Nigerians and investors have expressed growing frustration over the implementation of a 10% withholding tax on interest earned from savings and short-term investment. Over the past 3 days, many aggrieved investors have taken to social media platforms, particularly X, to vent their displeasure as several fintech banks commenced the deduction of the 10% withholding tax on earned interest. While some investors believe the deductions are linked to the new tax laws that took effect on January 1, 2026, others argue that the policy predates the new regime. You'll recall that in October 2025, the then Federal Inland Revenue Service, now the Nigerian Inland Revenue Service, directed banks to begin collecting 10% withholding tax on interest earned from short-term investment, which had previously been exempted, to encourage higher returns. Following the introduction of the new tax laws, some banks, particularly fintech institutions, have now begun enforcing the withholding tax on interest, a move that has stirred widespread frustration among investors. Reacting to the controversy, Chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, clarified that withholding tax on interest was not introduced by the new tax laws. Adding another perspective, the Chief Executive Officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, Dr. Muda Yusuf, stressed the need for more public education to address confusion surrounding Nigeria's evolving tax regime. Now, the Julius Abure-led faction of the Labour Party has rejected the reconciliation move made by Governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, describing Oti's call for reconciliation as dishonest and ill-fated. The Labour Party National Working Committee, led by Abure, said the crisis rocking the party remains unresolved. You recall that Oti had called on the Labour Party to come together, sheath their swords, and work together towards strengthening the party alongside the committee led by Nenadi Usman. The call by Oti followed the delisting of Abure's team from the portal of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) after a court order which names Nenadi Usman as the authentic leader of the Labour Party. However, in its reaction, the Abure-led faction accused the Abia State Governor of playing a major role in triggering the crisis within the party. Speaking on the matter, Obiaraifo, spokesperson for the Abure faction, said they are not interested in any reconciliation move being proposed by Governor Alex Oti, as he is largely responsible for the crisis facing the party. You're currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I'm now being joined by Mr. Elvis Elimihele for the news analysis segment on the World News at 12 this afternoon. How are you doing today, Mr. Elvis? Good to have you here.
Good afternoon, Choma. How's your day?
Very well, thank you. Let's head right into the issues. A suspected bomb, or actually a bomb, was found inside an Abia church compound, the premises, and this was only unearthed after the church members were trying to dig around the area. They wanted to erect a new fence. What would have happened if while they were digging, maybe the hole or whatever it is they were using to dig actually hit the object and it exploded? Reports are saying over 100 people would have died, and this would have probably been attributed to maybe terrorist elements, IPOB or others, as the case may be.
But that's a surprising thing, Choma. Is this bomb newly planted, or is just probably one of the old bombs during the Civil War that we did?
During the Civil War? Was it? Were the areas not rebuilt after the Civil War?
That's what I'm surprised. You said they were excavating probably to erect a fence.
They were digging around. They wanted to erect a fence.
So, I mean, it's somehow to hear this, because Abia State is not really so much volatile as in insecurity as we have in Nigeria. I would have gone to plant such bomb. Is it the same where we are saying in the northeast and northwest down to north central that is transcending to southeast now? I mean, this ought to have to be properly investigated to unravel who are those behind this, because you can imagine the number of persons that life would have been wasted unnecessarily, if not because God have just intervened in this matter. Then this church, since God have, I mean, they should be very much serious in their prayers, because I think this is a divine matter that God did not allow this to happen as expected by the enemies.
You know, Nigerians kind of have an attitude of attributing spirituality to certain situations. You know how the very unfortunate death of the young singer, the young lady that was bitten by a snake, and then people are coming out to say, oh, it must have been sent, why was there a snake in her room, it's a spiritual attack and something like that. And others are saying you absolve the government of blame when you ascribe spirituality to these issues. A lot of people have been complaining about the Abuja central sewage system. Other people are saying this is not the first time they are seeing reptiles crawling through the pipes, through the central sewage system, and entering into their homes. How is that spiritual?
Well, because of the way we have found ourselves in this part of the world, Choma, we have over the years, because nothing works as expected, so we are closer to God more than any other part of the world, if I may use that word. Because if you look at the praying nations, Nigeria is about the second most prayerful nation in the world. So if you take it from that trajectory, because almost everything we face in this part of the world, we try our best to do it for ourselves, because we know too well that if we have to wait for government, it becomes an issue. So if you cannot afford it, then you are now resort to calling on God. And in most cases we see, either by hook or crook or divinely, God has always been coming for us. It's just unfortunate that the young girl you made mention of, Naya, that you used in your example, that she died. If not, if she has survived it, in another 3 weeks from now, 1 month, she would have also been doing Thanksgiving in the church and thanking God that she survived it. So most times when you wait for the government and it's not coming and you cannot afford it, what else do? You call on your God. We have allowed this to slip off our palms over the years, Choma. It's not just beginning. Since we have never known how to hold government accountable for most of the things that we're supposed to get from them over the years, then the next thing is, we use it to worry God, and God has always been there for Nigerians. So that's why you see some of these things that we call on God. But look at the one that just happened in Abia now, in your news bulletin now. If it has happened, whom else do we call on? The government will tell you, we are going to come up with investigation will go on. At the end of the day, you will never hear the end of the investigation. You will never hear that people are brought to book or made to serve as deterrent to others. That's where Nigerians resort to calling on God in every situation, Choma.
All right then, so while we're calling on God, what about the people whom we handed over our mandate to? But while we're talking about this in Abia State, in some quarters, they're alleging that, since Governor Oti has been in the news for doing so much for the people of Abia State, even to the point where while the rest of Nigeria suffers from the collapse of the national grid, people of Abia State cannot relate. You've seen other former Abia State governors coming out to talk about OT. What is he even doing? And some believe that this might be the work of a political opposition and be the work of political detractors who want to make it look like Alex Oti is not doing as much as we think he's doing.
Yeah, they are not far from the truth. But thank God,
you are seeing the hand of the opposition in this.
Yeah, thank God that God has disproved them.
The opposition will go and plant a bomb to affect people.
Listen, the simplest way to destabilize a government is to attack the people. And you see, he has been getting this kind of popular will among the Abians since he came in as governor. He has been trying his best to do the bidding of the people. And you see the recent gang up against him that he's not going back for a second tenure, and that even the former governor said he has only been painting the road he has done over 20-something years ago. Who believes that he has not done anything? He's only painting the road he did. So where some people might liken it that where is it the opposition that is trying to destabilize Alex Oti? Imagine this one has happened. Over 100 persons have been involved in this. In another 1 week, 2 weeks, nobody will be talking of development. Everybody will be talking of, Alex Oti is not serious about the security of his people. Now his people are not being bombs are not being planted, and that will also discourage investors. This man is doing all this. He's trying to say he want to make Abia State like the Taiwan of Africa. So if you see that manufacturing is happening so much in Abia and other houses in Abia State, electricity has come up, which has always been bane of manufacturing in Nigeria, because most investors cannot begin to be able to generate electricity to actually power their little industry or whatever. This man has been able to put that on ground. People are interested in, let me go into that state and put up something. Then opposition could cash on this kind of thing and say, let us use this as a way to destabilize it, knowing fully where we are in this part of the world, that we so much look at how to pull somebody pull an opponent down. But this will now also serve as example, a very good example to Alex Oti, that he should look more inward into actually showing up his the security of his state, because it's not sufficient for you to call people to come into my state that I'm doing well, my electricity is good, infrastructure is getting better, but the security of the people who are inhabitants, who are to come in to live in that state and to invest in that state, must also be considered so much. But thank God this did not happen.
All right, then let's go to Benue State. Now, you heard the insert that I played, right? That is actually from a young American man called Alex Babie. He is kind of like a missionary, right? He's been in Benue State, Yelwata precisely, overseeing the rebuilding of homes of people who have been affected by insurgency and terrorism in the state. He's in Guma local government, that's exactly Yelwata in Benue State. So he's been overseeing this building. Of course, he's been interfacing with people like Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo. You can actually see him in the community. In his word, according to him, he's sharing the word of God with them while rebuilding their homes, rebuilding their communities. And then he says his work will soon be done. You can see him overseeing the rebuilding of the homes. He says his work will soon be done, but he does not want to leave there and then get home to the United States and hear that they have been attacked. He talked about how for the period he's been there, that there has been security. They've been able to rebuild some of the homes, but he's hoping that when he leaves, he will not hear that, the security people move away from those areas, and then the terrorists are able to come back and attack the people of Yelwata. He says he has the backing of Representative Riley Moore. He has the backing of the U.S. government. They've been checking his coordinates. They are aware that he is there. So this is one man whom it seems that his country is providing security for him even while he's Nigeria, and he's so concerned about the people he is going to leave behind, saying he hopes that all the investment that has been made in that place will not be destroyed once he leaves. He says it will be, the blood of the people will be on the hands of the Nigerian government if that happens.
Very emotional, Choma. When you play that test up just now, in fact, I felt it, that what the government of this nation is supposed to be doing for its people, some other persons have now, other governments and other persons from other countries have now taken it over. What a monumental failure. The Yelwata has a local government chairman, he has the governor, and there is a president who oversees the affairs of this nation. Nothing of this nature ever comes from them that, these people need to be resettled and be taken back to their ancestral home. They will not think of it. The only thing that they remember is to clamp them in IDP camp, whether they eat or not, whether their welfare is met or not, is not their concern. But here is an American person coming into Nigeria to supervise the job that is supposed to be done by Nigeria government. But unfortunately, what he's even saying now is not even doing the job that is the issue now. That allowing what he has done to subsist and let these people enjoy it without coming back, hearing that they have been attacked again. Choma, I'm telling you, if care is not taken, your water is still vulnerable. These people might have an attack on them again.
So saying that these people they are waiting for him to finish rebuilding, for security agents to leave, and then they will return.
They will leave and they will tell you stories. We have seen what the governor of Borno State is doing. Governor Zulum is doing in Borno State, trying to even rehabilitate and take back some of the displaced Borno indigenes to their respective ancestral home. Since he came in as governor, he's been trying to do that. But we saw one of the attack recently, but sometimes in October and November, that some of the area he already people rehabilitated and built up was attacked and everything was brought down. I pray such thing will not happen to Yewata again, because this one that you see security people are still around him now is because it's just lip service. It's just the job. You just want to let Donald Trump know that the citizen that is in Nigeria is protected. I'm telling you, as soon as this man leaves,
the Nigerian government cares more about that one American.
Yes,
thousands of Nigerians,
because they know now they are on the radar. They are being watched. They know that if anything happens to this man, if you know what we are talking about now. Nigerians are even talking about that we need more of Donald Trump's intervention in assisting to curb up this insecurity. And if anything happens to this man, they know it will not be easy with Nigeria and his government. That's why you see all of them flocking around now. As soon as this man goes, the water is going to be left like an orphan, and whatever is putting in place now might even be attacked again, because we know too well it has been happening in Nigeria. I just told you about Borno State, how it's happening there, and now the water will not be an exception. All this one you see there, they are flocking around. It's just lip service. They just want to do it so that the international community will know that the security is better now. I'm happy now that the man has already given the warning down now that he hope he will not get back to America and hear that this community has been attacked again, and all these things that they put in place have been destroyed. Not even destroying the things again, and the people again would have lost their lives. That's even the bone of contention. Yewata will not be giving that security status and say, let us protect them so that we will not hear this. They will turn their back at them, and something else will happen. And you know what this insurgent, this terrorists always want to do? They want a situation where wherever they will strike, it will be a place that it will hurt the government and the people so much. If they are not protected, these people will go back again.
The people have been living in IDP camps and they've enjoyed relative security, although sometimes we hear reports of these terrorists also attacking them in the IDP camps. They've been living there. Some people have been living there for close to a decade. Now they are being told, return to your homes. We've built homes for you. You can return, but they are not being guaranteed safety and security as much as is being enjoyed right now. For many people, they will only be able to visit those homes now because there is a semblance of security. Their security men are around, and American citizens around. They don't want to have any problem with Donald Trump or the United States forces, right? But do you think the people will be trusting enough to return to those homes after Alex Babia leaves?
Absolutely no. Let's not shy away from the truth, Choma. Those areas are still very, very volatile and vulnerable. Nigeria's security cannot protect them. These people have a way of coming to attack these persons, and before you know, within two hours, a whole community is brought down. Within 2 hours, you will not hear of any Nigerian security, Nigerian armed forces, coming to rescue these persons. So those persons that, even if their homes are built, they are vulnerable. I know they are not living a decent life in IDP camp. The life in IDP camp is so bad that nobody, human beings are not meant to kept in such places. But these people are afraid of their lives. Before they got into IDP camp, they know the number of persons that they've lost in their communities, and they are now telling them now go back. What security measure? What is the guarantee? Is it better? Is it not still the same Nigeria that we hear every day? We still hear of pockets of attack left, right, center, here and there. What is going to make them to be an exceptional their case to be an exceptional case? There's nothing on ground to show for it. So if they go back, they are going back at their peril. It's not as if the government is going to protect them. Then, bro, that comes back to the same matter we were talking about just now. Choma, when we're talking about prayer, Nigeria will turn it to prayer and all that. Then, if those of them that will dare it now, they are going back, they are going to resort to prayer because they know too well that it is not as if the system is going to protect them. They will be calling on God, please, so assist us to make sure that we are not attacked. It's not as if the system is going to dare to help them. It is not going to be there. They live in IDP camp for 10 years or more. What was the effort of the government? If the American government have not intervened in this matter, these people will remain in IDP camp for all their lives because the government will not be talking of how to take them back and resettle them because they didn't see that they didn't see anything wrong with it. We have Governor Otton, who was always crying to Abuja, who was crying. You remember he left PDP, he left APC for PDP because he said his people were being killed unjustly. What did he do to affect the life of the IDPs when he was there as governor? He did nothing. But they only come to the radio and television and cry because they want to encourage the sympathy of the people, people to sympathize with them. But the people who are directly affected are not taken care of. That's the situation. If they go back after whatever rehabilitation they would have done in their communities, I'm telling you, the Nigerian security apparatus is not strong enough to take care of these people and to give these people a guarantee that they will not be attacked again.
Now, while we're talking about the situation in Benue State, the police and the civilian joint task force has been alerted, saying that some armed headers are establishing camps in Benue State in Agatu.
Yes, remember Agatu is always in the news.
In Agatu area of Benue State, in Akpa local government area of Benue State, and now the police and CJTF and other tactical teams were deployed to the areas to forestall possible attacks on surrounding communities. Authorities said their monitoring surveillance has been intensified and that they will ensure that there is no disruption to local activities. But this brings us back to the issue of trust. The people trust the police, the CJTF enough to say, oh, if you ask us to remain calm, we'll remain calm. If you ask us to remain vigilant, we'll remain vigilant. If you tell us that all is well, we will believe you. We're talking about communities being rebuilt. While the communities are being rebuilt, the people who destroy those communities are setting up camps around those communities.
Around them. Are you not seeing a double standard here? Are you not seeing what we are talking? This is what we are discussing now. As they are building those camps now, the federal government and the security apparatus now will tell you, oh, we have gone and we have been able to drive them away. Is that enough? People are behind these camps that are being built everywhere, Choma. Where the major thing Nigeria government should look into, who are the people releasing this fund for all these camps? And even when these camps are built, the people who are occupying these illegal camps are fed every day. Where are they getting the means of all to sustain themselves in all these camps? They carry weapons, arms. Who are the people behind this supply? This is where the government should focus on. Cut this source. If this source is not cut, Choma, I'm telling you that no matter what is put in place to safeguard the people, whether you say, oh, we have deployed security down and this security are only going to be on patrol, they are not going to remain in those villages. They are only going to be patrolling, and this patrol will be at hours of intervals. And you know what that means? Attack can come at any time. So the government has not helped Nigerians. They've not fared well. The government must put its eye down and look for those people, bring them out who are the sponsors of these persons. It's not those ragtag that are building this camp to remain in the bush are the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria is those people who are sponsoring them, giving them this arms and ammunition, giving them the facility to build this camp and feeding them while they are at this camp. That's where the government comes in. The government have not done its job in that area. They've completely failed in that area. Then so telling the people to go back, oh, we have built your home, or we are to go and be resettled back to your ancestral home, and these people are not taking out whatever took them to the IDP camp before may resurface.
Members, an affiliate under the payroll of the FCT administration to resume work with immediate effect. You recall that there was supposed to be a solidarity walk in Abuja today, led by the NLC and the TUC, but they said, oh, we've had a meeting with FCT minister some weekend. It was a breakthrough meeting. We've had agreements that we should return to work. We've had agreements that no one who participated in the strike or the protest should be victimized, and so you can return to work. Is this something you would say that you're happy about, that they've been able to resolve these issues? Recall that these were the same people who were chasing after Wiki and shouting Oli, Oli.
Well, there are two issues here, Choma. At least they are going back to work. Probably before this statement was made, there would have been a concrete agreement on those things that led to this problem. The solution has to follow, immediately. it is not just going back to work. Those salaries that are being owed, those promotions that never came and all that, those things should be sorted out. Because if at the end of the day these workers are, has to go back to work, and this situation, the former situation persists, the strike will come up again. So let's not just begin to deceive ourselves. I hope the leadership of the NLC and TUC and whatever, the Joint Action Congress, have done their due diligence. It's not sufficient to say, oh, nobody will be victimized. Yes, good, but the problem that led to this situation that shut down Abuja now for over 3 weeks, has it been categorically taken care of? Have they met? Has the minister giving his word now that those things are going to be, sorted out? And even if he has done, have you put timeline? Oh, between so time to so time? Because you don't just tell, okay, go back, I'm going to do it, and you're going to remain in darkness and all. Remain as if nothing happened within the next 2 months, 3 months. Then angers will start flaring up again for them to start calling on strike, because they got the support of the people now in this first one. But if they already go back without that concrete agreement on how this matter is going to be resolved, when it comes back again, Nigerians may not support them the way they were supported in this one. So that's the major issue there, because these politicians who are made ministers, they are people that don't have conscience. They don't value Nigerians. They only value themselves. By the time they get back to work, now you know what Abuja would have been turned to for these past 3 weeks. Refuse dumps and all others. Nothing is working. Nothing will be working in that capital city. It's a shame, a big shame for a capital city to be shut down for this number of weeks. But going back to work, they should work their back. If all those things, those grievances that led to this strike are not properly arranged for them to be taken care of, this strike may come up. And my fear is that they may not have the support the people gave them in this one. Choma.
All right, then let's quickly talk about the 10% withholding tax on interest. Is actually sparked outrage with people saying, my savings matured, I got the interest of my savings, but then 10% of that interest, not the main, capital, not the main money that you saved, but the interest that's compounded on the money saved is being taxed. They're taking 10%. So if you gain 40,000 naira interest, 4,000 is going to the government. If you gain 100,000 naira interest, 10,000 is going into the coffers of the government. And people are asking why. Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, says it's not new. It was not introduced by the new tax laws. It's always been there. But if it's always been there, where was the implementation? Or did they decide to stall on the implementation? And that is just one more tax the Nigerians have to pay. The same Taiwo Oyedele is saying by March 31, every individual must file their tax returns, and there are grave consequences if you do not. But unfortunately, we are not exactly sure which of these the tax laws that we are operating now, due to the House of Reps saying indeed it was altered. One of those tax laws, whether it was the altered one or the original one, says if you do not file your tax returns on time, you are liable to, they can come into your home, they can take whatever they want, you will still pay 20% surcharge, you will still pay up to like 200,000 naira fines. It's a lot.
You see, the shenanigan around this tax law, Choma, we have been speaking on this matter time without number, and we are not getting to the roots of this matter. We are not getting to the end. It is still very, very hazy. Nigerians don't even know this tax law. Nigerians don't even know where we are heading to with this administration regarding these tax laws that just came up this January this year, 2026. So many gray areas that have not actually been, ironed out before Nigerians to actually know where we are treading on. Unfortunately, whenever a new one is discovered, what we usually hear from Taiwo Oyedele is that it's not a new one, that has always been there. Is it this one that we're talking about now? Do you know it's going to discourage people from savings, putting money in the bank? At the end of the day, you just discover that the little interest that you have on top of your money is now big tax. So people are now going to start looking at bank like, no, I don't. How much do I have? I don't even want the government to know whether I have. And we know what that means. That will now encourage insecurity. People will now begin to put money, look for a way to bank their money in their respective home. And you know what that means? The danger that will now constitute to Nigerians. So I still want the National Assembly that raised that alarm that time that, this tax law have been altered. And we call on suspending it and see to the end of it before the implementation of these laws. Unfortunately, we didn't even hear the result of that matter after that raising that alarm, and now we are now hearing that there are going to be infractions if you don't file at so time for so time, and Nigerians will now begin to face that infractions and begin to face that penalties, because most of us are naive. We don't even know what these laws are. So the National Assembly, the tax law, the tax people themselves, Oyedele and his team, should do more of advocacy. It is not where anyone is spotted that they need to tell you it is not a new one. Most of the ones that Nigerians have been able to unravel since they came up with it, what we always hear from me is that, oh, it's not even a new one. It is even that we are even, we only fine tune it to even make it to look to be more comfortable to Nigerians. You believe they're not
educating the people enough to really understand
at all. Even I met an accountant who is a specialist in taxation 2 weeks ago. There were so many things he told me that they themselves, even who are specialists, have not even understand yet. They are also waiting that this alarm that was raised by the National Assembly concerning the alteration, that probably that will now put an insight into most of the things, because this is their business. They are in the practice of this tax and taxation matter, that they don't even understand some of the laws, because the laws are so many, but unfortunately each one we are able to unravel. They tell us it's not a new one. This one now we have just been told now it's not a new one, and that means Nigerians are going to live by it as it is.
All right, then let's quickly talk politics. The Julius Abure faction of the Labour Party has rejected reconciliation moves being made by Abia State Governor Alex Oti. They said Alex Oti's call for reconciliation is dishonest, as he was is largely responsible for the crisis facing the party. Recall that it was him and Peter Obi, who is no longer exactly fully a member of the party now, that worked towards the Nenadi Usman Caretaker Committee leadership, and now it's Nenadi Usman Caretaker Committee in conjunction with Alex Oti who is asking the Abure faction for a reconciliation. And of course, in this reconciliation, he will no longer be chairman, but he seems hell-bent on being the chairman and taking the leadership of the Labour Party, and so he says there is no reconciliation. Would you say that this would continue to cause problems for the Labour Party and cause them to be distracted from the real work of politicking and being a viable opposition?
Absolutely, Choba, that's just what Abure is just like a bull in a china shop. He just out to destroy things. I'm just so surprised that Abure is looking at the chairmanship of Labour Party like a hereditary thing that it belongs to him. I don't know what he's looking for. The court have made pronouncement on this matter severally. Okay, reconciliation committee, okay, if he truly believes in Labour Party, truly love Labour Party, would he be interested in seeing Labour Party moving forward and doing well in 2027 general election with all this back and forth, Choma? Would Labour Party be able to feature candidates if these matters are not resolved? Because candidates will be wanting to see a credible person sign their form, so that eventually they win an election, the opposition will not go to court and say that primaries was not the person that signed the form of the primary was not the rightful person to sign their form, and what that means, that election will be nullified. So what Abure is doing to Labour Party is something that Nigerians should call on Abure, because it's becoming like a personal matter. Abure is not taking this matter like a politician any longer. When things are in confusing state, what do? You go to court. Let court now interpret. Court has interpreted this matter severally, but you see, by the time court finishes one, they will come up with another one. Court will finish another, then come up with. So what does he really want? Does he want Labour Party to just be raised out of the political parties in Nigeria? Because I think that is what is working towards. Must you remain there as chairman even when your tenure is over? Even when court has made pronouncement on your tenure? Even when court has made pronouncement on the Kangaroo Inewi convention? I have never heard of Inewi in Nigeria as a capital, as a political city for anything that has to do with politics. Inewi is known for spare parts. You see, what is he really looking for? We can never be mentioned for any political matter in this nation. He carried convention to Inewi. Nobody knew whether he was going to buy spare parts. We want to become one of the dealers of spare parts for Labour Party. So now, this Nenadi and Oti they are calling for reconciliation. Yes, because they believe in this party. Also, Alex Oti will tell you that he remains a Labour Party person. This governor is coming back in 2027. He wants the ticket. He wants to fly his ticket under Labour Party. with all these shenanigans and all this confusion, hovering him around him, what will he be able to concentrate on playing the politics that's supposed to be? And even there are some other persons who are interested in saying, I want to fly my ticket in Labour Party. Then with all this one, Abure and his cohort are taking and doing around Labour Party, do they really want the truth to be said about that party? I think Abure should be called to order.
Would you say that his insistence on being the leader or the chairman of the party actually fuels the speculation or the rumors that he's working with the APC?
100%. We have seen that. We have seen because the gun a young child shoots, a small boy pull the trigger. It was not loaded by that small boy. Another loaded the gun for the small child to pull the trigger. What we are seeing, Abure does not really have this power. It's just because Abure is having a bigger power that is backing him. That's why Abure is now behaving in this matter that he has now turned Labour Party like a hereditary issue, that it belongs to him and no other person can come in. What does it take for reconciliation? Even when there are crises, when there are crises, the next thing is let's call for dialogue, let's call for reconciliation. Nobody is saying, even at that time, you earn more name, you become another statement in that party, you can still dictate shots to a reasonable extent. This Labour Party want to come up with a convention, at least that will bring in leadership, that will now hold the leadership of the party, so that they can also play a very vital role in 2027 general election. We need more opposition parties to be able to confront the ruling party, so that we can get out of this coup d'etat we find ourselves with the ruling party. But unfortunately, you see, Abure keep throwing spanner into the wheel of the progress of Labour Party.
Right, unfortunate. All right, Mr. Abisalemi Heleamos, thank you very much for being a part of the news this afternoon. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.
It's my pleasure, Choma.
All right, then you have been listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that Iran has arrested 140 foreigners over protest. Panic. A suspected bomb found inside Abia church compound. Police CJTF alerted as armed headers establish camps in Benue, and NLC TUC directs FCT workers to resume work immediately. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12 and Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good afternoon to you and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. Martis comes up next with Syllable FM.